Hey friends, it is Wednesday and it's Ask a Flower Farmer. It is your friend Lisa Mason Ziegler. And you might notice I'm in a little bit of a different spot here, right? So I am actually standing out in front of our fulfillment center and you can hear traffic noise and such, right? But I was freezing inside the building and I thought any reason to get outside. So y'all are going to hear traffic and all kinds of stuff, and that's just kind of the way it is. So first off, to give you the landscape here, so our business, the fulfillment center, is actually located in an industrial park, and we're at the end of a cul-de-sac. So I'm in a circle with like 5 other businesses down here, and they are all very busy. This is a hopping place. So anyway, so it's a little bit different, and I just love our sign on our brown building, which looks like soil to me, right? So today, if this is your first time here, first off, welcome aboard. My name is Lisa Mason Ziegler with the Gardener's Workshop, and Ask a Flower Farmer happens every Wednesday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and I do my best to answer your questions. And so if you would like to ask me a question, you can just post it in the little bubble with the question mark down below, and that way I don't miss your question by having to scroll through everybody's name. And so a couple of things. First off, if you're seeing people posting the sunflower emoji, that is kind of our sign of those are people that are our online course students, and we just love seeing them. And so I really thank everybody for doing that, because I just love seeing our students on here, and it always helps, whenever we have a new course come out, or our big courses, they only enroll for like 5 days a year at different times throughout the year for the different courses. It really helps other people to reach out to our students. So thank you guys so much. Speaking of which, today at 1 o'clock over on Clubhouse, I am talking to the one and only Ellen Frost. Ellen is a florist designer that has been only using locally grown flowers for the past 15 years in her design business, year-round, friends. Anyway, she does a big course for us, but she has got a brand new course that just came out this weekend, and it's called Preparing to Sell to Florist. If you are a flower farmer and you want to up your game for selling to florist or get started doing it, her course, I think it's like an hour and a half long. I mean, she is the expert. She is the florist. She's talking, I'm doing this from memory, y'all. In this course, the 3 targets is finding your florist, pricing, and availability lists. How to make the meet, how to give them an availability list that they can buy from conveniently, and then pricing. And so the course is like $50. It is a drop in the bucket compared to the return that you can get when you do the work. So I really invite you to check that out. But today at 1 o'clock over in Clubhouse, I'm talking to her, so you can get a little taste of what that's all about. And friends, this is the time of the year when we're all just buried in flowers, right? So now is the time. So please share that. You can find more about it at thegardenersworkshop.com. Just go to our online courses, and it's right there. And I cannot recommend it enough. I've watched it 2 times, and I just can't believe how helpful it would have been for me 20 years ago to have had this kind of insider information, to just really make it so you are your florist's favorite place to buy. And that's the big bottom line, friends, is florist, not only is there a huge disruption again now in the flower world, I don't know if you know about all the rioting going on in Ecuador and places, and just it's even worse now than it was from the pandemic. Now is our opportunity, so seize the moment, friends. And so meet me over on Clubhouse at 1 o'clock for a chat with Ellen, and you'll be able to ask her questions. So before I dive into your questions, I wanted to highlight 2 things. One is summer. Right now here in Virginia, we're coming to the end of June. 2 things scream summer to me. One is zinnias, right? I mean, once the zinnias start, we know that the heat has arrived. But the other thing is silage tarps. If you have been looking at the images that I've been posting online of my farm, or if you look on the farm cam that you can find over on YouTube or on our website, you'll see that a third of my garden right now has just been covered in silage tarps. And that is because we're pulling cool flowers out. Not all of them. Some of them are still going strong, and the Lysianthus are just starting, but a lot of them are done. And instead of just leaving them there to grow weeds, we pull them out and instantly cover them with silage tarp to hold the spot clean from weeds until we're ready to plant. Or if there are weeds there, the silage tarp in the heat of the summer will get toasted alive. And so just so happens, we did this yesterday, our silage tarps are 20% off. And basically that 20% will help you pay for the shipping. The shipping is killer on silage tarps, y'all, but they weigh 40 pounds. They are heavy. So check that out at thegardenersworkshop.com. Ours are black on both sides, 50 by 20, and I just use the heck out of them. I got 2 more brought to the farm on Monday because we're just using them for so much. They save so much work, y'all. So much work when you incorporate them into your system. All right, so let's see what kind of questions we have down here. Do you battle gophers on your farm? Best advice for eradicating them humanely. I do not have gophers. I am tickled to say. That is one of the few varmints that I do not have. And I have no words of wisdom for you. So I am sorry. I would actually put that in a search engine and ask and see what it actually comes up. Is phlox, with a French name, a cut and come again flower? Boy, I don't have many answers for y'all today. I do not grow phlox. So I cannot answer that. I have absolutely no experience with that. Union Mills Farm, do you think there is time to start new celosia? So let's see what this question is. Do you think there is still time to start new celosia seeds for another succession? Zone 7, Charlottesville. So when you're trying to figure out timeline of whether or not when to start something, y'all, it's all based on your first and last frost dates. And so I don't know what your first fall frost is. Mine is mid-November, and we have just finished starting our celosia. So my first expected frost is mid-November. So you can gauge from that, but you are walking a fine line. And the other thing to do is when you're looking at seed catalogs and such, or you can actually Google this too, find out what is the days to bloom. It varies widely. Interestingly enough, I was doing research for a project yesterday, and I noticed that queen zinnias take a little longer from seed to bloom than Benary's giants do. Not a big deal, but they're all zinnias, and it varies. So I would look for the shortest from seed to bloom celosias, and hop to it quick. And the other thing is, you won't know until you try it. So I would just jump right on getting some of those done. Okay, so Red Pepper Gardens is saying, neck drooping on my pro-cut sunflowers, 6 inches apart, decent heads. Is there a trick to prevent? So Red Pepper, see if you can post this on here, and if I can get to it, what color is it? So the bottom line is this: all of the specialty colors, not just in pro cuts, in all sunflowers, those chocolate ones, the bicolored ones, and the white ones, all have stiffer necks. What I do is put a splash of Quick Dip, which is intended to be something you just dip the stems in, but I learned from a flower arranger that she puts about 2 tablespoons of Quick Dip, which is a hydrator basically, into her harvest or into her buckets, and that I tried it, and it prevented my necks from going wonky. So, but depending on where you are in your business, plum for sure. So it is definitely color related. And I really figured out last year, first off, when I was in high production farming, when we were producing, 10 grand, 10,000 stems of flowers a week, I only grew one color of Pro-Cut sunflower, and that was orange. The most stiffest neck, longest lasting, most in demand. It's the classic sunflower, and it just made your life simpler. We started offering all these different colors as we diversified our business and downsized greatly just to have variety. But if you are commercially selling, you might want to consider just going to orange, because it takes extra work to get stiffer stems on those specialty colors. So hope that helps. Hey Lisa, can you describe when the best time to harvest feverfew? So depends on which feverfew you're talking about. So one of the things when I do my shopping shows on Friday inside the Gardener's Workshop special app, you can get the app from your app store. You just search Gardener's Workshop live shop and get it. I go live every Friday at 12 noon. It's like QVC, y'all, but I'm going through showing our blooms from the garden. And a couple weeks ago I think, I did all of the feverfews, because I grow them all. We grow 5 or 6 different varieties, and they definitely have varying harvest stages. So for instance, Virgo, which is a white button, and Vegmo Sunnyball and Vegmo Yellow, all of them are like the little button type of, they're kind of tight headed with small buttons. All of those I can harvest really, really early. I'll harvest them before you can even see color if I'm desperate for filler. However, Vegmo Single, which is my favorite, it looks like the little daisy, you have to wait till pretty much all of them are open and strip them hard. I only leave stem branches from about this far from the top, not very much at all. That's the single. The Balls Ultra, which used to be Tetra White, which is the white double fluffy big head, it's kind of like the single. You have to really let most of it get open. That's why I really love the Virgo and the Vegmo Sunnyball and Vegmo Yellow. They have more versatile, that's what I should say. So I hope that helps you. And you can find all of those over at thegardenersworkshop.com. But what I was going to say is, on the shopping show, the products are listed, and each product has a clip of the video of me talking about it. And not all of them are perfect by any means, but you can go over there and check that out and see what they look like, is what I guess I'm getting at. All right. Famous Amos says, can you talk about support netting? Do we lay down and plant directly into it, then move it up? How to handle if planting multiple varieties with different heights? What a great question, and this is really perfect timing for that question. So we use flower support netting, which you can find over on my website, thegardenersworkshop.com. We use netting for 2 different uses. One is as a planting grid. Because the squares are 6 inches, it's perfect. I mean, 99% of what I actually plant is on a 6-inch apart in row. And so we use it as a planting grid. Bobo did this morning. She rolled out her piece that she uses, laid it down, did her planting without losing any space because it's exact measurement, right? Then she rolls it up. That does not stay down in the garden. That is a piece that she just uses. It's the length of our beds, and that's the piece she grabs along with her kneeler and her plants that she's planting, and she goes out and does it. That is rolled up immediately. You never, ever, ever leave loose netting in the garden. It is a dangerous thing for people and for animals to get caught in it when it's loose like that. So that's one use. The second use is we use it as support netting, horizontal. And we install it typically not right after planting. Usually, it's a different person. I usually put the netting in. And so I come back and I try to put the netting in before the plants. So you want the netting to hit the plant basically at the half to mature mark. So if you're grow, let's just say you're doing 48-inch plants, that means the netting should be at 24 inches. So you better be sure and get that netting on before it is 24 inches tall, right? And so I put it on, and somebody, I think the end of your question was if there's varying heights. I try really hard when I'm planning our garden to try to put like height stuff together for that very reason. But I've had netting that goes up gradually for the next crop if it's taller. So hope that helps. Let's see what else. Another question, what seeds are you currently sowing? So we do all of our seeds starting indoors. I mean, the only time I ever direct sow out in the garden is in the fall for some cool flowers. It is far easier to be successful, less work, less weed pressure, the whole 9 yards. So we are constantly starting seeds. So let's see, Bobo was starting this morning. We're doing a lot of test growing, so not varieties that I can share with you. I don't even know them. I know them by number, not by name. Lots of grasses. And we just finished starting more cosmos because, of course, cosmos really prefer the end of the summer, just like dahlias do as the days start getting shorter. So cosmos, marigolds, zinnias, those are all have been on the list, as well as, gomphrena and basil. I mean, it's just the same old stuff. We're getting our last one started, and before long, it'll be cool flower seed starting in the blink of an eye. You should already have, by the way, your cool flower seeds, right? What is your favorite size tarp? My first one is 50 by 100 and about kills us to put it on and take it off. So that's why we sell a 50 by 20. I have a 50 by 100. And if you look at the farm cam, you can see there's a big tarp right there on the part of a garden that we're actually slowly uncovering, composting, and planting there. That is definitely 50 by 100. And I mean, if you're still married or still in love with your partner after you try to do that together, you've done something. I personally prefer dealing with tarps by myself. But anyway, with all that said, 50 by 20 is our favorite size. Not only is that a really manageable size, but we also cut 5-foot wide strips to cover individual beds. That's how I use a lot of them now. I have 2 big ones, and then we do that, and that allows us to manage, like if you pull out part, and like there's all over my farm right now, there's partial beds covered in silage tarps. And that just really allows us to do it. So the 50 by 20 is normally like $97. I think it's on sale for $76 right now. And the shipping's a killer, y'all, but that's what it costs. If you don't have a supplier within driving range, you have to pay. It weighs like 40 pounds. And that's the other reason we went with the smaller one. It just is impossible. My girls couldn't even pick up the big ones, So there's a lot of advantages to the smaller ones. So Karen Creations asks, seedlings are yellow once we put it in the ground. Any suggestions? Well, gosh, that could be a lot of things. That can be disease. That can be lack of nutrition, poor drainage, no water. You know what I mean? So you need to evaluate. If you had beautiful seedlings, meaning they were dark green and looking beautiful, and you planted them into soil that you've prepared with fertilizer, and you're watering like you should, then you think disease. But I would go through all of those steps first before I would start doing disease. Early Bird Acres, Fruitvale. Best advice for aphids under sunflower petals. So, we don't really do anything about pests. We have just really allowed nature to take its course. And what that means, that doesn't just mean that nature just rolls in and starts taking care of your plants. That means that you have to set nature up to be successful. And that's my book, Vegetables Love Flowers, which is really about a 3-season cutting garden, y'all. is also about the way that I take care of all of this stuff. It talks about not using pesticides at all. So, because we're killing more beneficial bugs, the bugs that actually eat the bad bugs, than we are killing the bad bugs. But in fact, you can kind of reestablish nature in your garden. And I mean, I know this sounds like really like rainbows and unicorns, friends, but it's not. It is literally nature in action, and we live it. So we do have outbreaks of sometimes of pests, and if we can just step back and wait for Mother Nature to come in. It's so funny. Bronda and I just did a interview with Jessica Walliser of she's an author, and her book, Attracting Beneficial Insects to Your Garden, planting to do that. And, you know, Rhonda went home and found some aphids, decided to leave them. And in fact, exactly what Jessica described to us about how they get mummified when the parasitic wasps sting them. Friends, it really is that real. So we don't do anything for it, but you need to make sure you're not over fertilizing, which is definitely one of the many reasons that they can actually happen. But this is for sure the time of the year when the aphids just really start, or any pest. You know, it's their weather, right? Plus we're all fertilizing like crazy. Tweed Thistle Farms would love to see another of your garden walks again soon. Yeah, we'll be getting back to that. We're kind of in a transition. And you know, of course, I am not so the Flower Podcast. Hey, Scott of the Flower Podcast, if you are not subscribed to Scott's podcast, you need to do that. The name of the book, it's Jessica Walliser. It's Walliser is her last name. And it's actually this is a book that came out 10 years ago that they just redid, and it came out, and it's Attracting Beneficial, I'm trying to think from memory, I'm sorry. We just, one of our podcasts on Field and Garden, I think just launched. If not, it's coming out this week. But if you Google her name, it'll come up. Attracting Beneficials to Your Garden. And it's about science too, y'all. It's based on science. And it's like, if you want to attract this particular good bug because you have this bug, this is what they're really attracted to. Super great book. But Tweed Thistle Farm, you know, I'm not often on the farm on Wednesdays, but it is definitely on my radar. We have some really big projects going on at the farm right now that I'm excited to share with you. They're all for a much bigger project, which I can't share yet. But I can show you all the stuff that's going on. But I have to tell you, the silage tarp is like, it's like the 911 to a garden, y'all. I mean, I just can't tell you how awesome it is. I've had to kind of retrain everybody to say, now, immediately when we tear a bed down, we tear down a bed immediately when we stop cutting from it. You don't leave it. You have to get it out because weeds start growing. You know, once a crop starts waning and it's not filling up the bed nicely and blocking the sun from getting to the base, weeds will quickly start growing. By tearing down getting that bed out of there quickly and immediately that day, I mean, it doesn't take 5 minutes to go and get another tarp, put it down, put some bags on it to hold it down, and if nothing else, it toasts and kills whatever weeds are growing there, because it's black tarp, y'all. It cooks what's underneath there. But if the bed is not in bad shape, it keeps that. It blocks the light and the moisture from getting to the weed seeds. I mean, if you can just get in your cycle of doing that, it will revolutionize your life. It has really done that for us. But you have to have enough silage tarps on hand to do it. So our 20-foot wide by 50-foot long, my beds are 50 feet. And actually, I'm making my beds a little shorter next year so the silage tarp fits better. But we cut one silage tarp into 4 5-foot by 50-foot pieces so that we have a stack of them, and the girls can just go grab one. Even if it's only needed on 12 foot, they just fold it up and put it down and put weight bags on it. We have weight bags on the website and the silage tarps, and especially if you have beds right now that you're not going to cover crop. And cover cropping, I mean, if you're overwhelmed, do not cover crop, y'all. Cover the beds with silage tarp to hold it until you're ready to plant cool flowers in the fall. It is like a dream come true. And then on a day when you have time, you can pull the silage tarp back, top it with 2 inches of compost and your fertilizer or whatever, and either incorporate it or not, and then just cover it back up, and it just sits there and waits ready for your plants. I'm telling you, it is that bloomin' simple. It really took me a long time to kind of figure all this out with silage tarps. And now these are 6 mil, I think, plastic, and they just hold up for a long time. I mean, this is my 3rd or 4th year, I guess, using ours. And so check that out. They are on sale. And I will try to give you guys a walk around tour. It probably won't be on a Wednesday, but I'll keep that in my bonnet and remember to try to do that for you guys. Cross blooms, no, it does not harm the soil biology. And actually, when you lift up that tarp, all the earthworms, all the ground beetles, all the spiders, all the things that we can visibly see are just thriving underneath there. Bottom leaves of otherwise healthy, thriving zinnias turning brown. Oh, who knows? It could be disease. And, you know, if you're overhead watering, that could be a problem, or if you get a lot of rain. But you can take pictures or take those leaves to your extension office, and they might be able to identify that for you. But zinnias get all kinds of diseases based on humidity, heat, spores in the soil, too much rain for too long, overhead watering, which just spreads disease. Overhead watering doesn't give them disease, it spreads what's already there. And it's kind of like voles in the garden, y'all. They're always there. It's just a matter of they kind of get flushed out and you notice them when they really get bad. All right, let's see what else. This is the last question. Lisa, do you keep cutting from straw flowers, snaps, and seeds, Sweet William? At what point do you flip these cut and come again beds? That is just really a great question to actually kind of finish up this session today. So when we know a crop is done, when one of several things can happen. Snapdragons, for instance, I've been doing all this cool flower experimenting on the farm. Well, while I'm getting beautiful looking snaps, and they're tall enough, even planting them later of specific varieties, what I am finding is that our heat and humidity really is leading to them prematurely dropping their florets. So while I can get them to grow, they really don't hold up nearly as well in the vase. So the question is that worth it? So they're out of here. The next thing is, let's just take straw flowers. Straw flowers, which we absolutely adore, and succession plant, when they stop producing. When you walk up to a bed and have to stand there and think, is there a flower here? What am I cutting next? That's when you know it's time to take that bed out. As a commercial, I was thinking about this yesterday. As a commercial grower, you are always looking to get the quickest harvest, the biggest harvest, and the best harvest from your beds. And the minute any one of those three, quickest, best, and most harvest, is not happening, that's when you think it's the time to mow that bed. And that's when I start flipping beds. So we tore out beds yesterday, and I mowed. I actually left a bed that I should have mowed. But when you have to stop and think, where's the next flower I'm going to cut? That's not how a cutting garden bed should be. So that's when I decide to flip and cut. So, all right. So, friends, it's 12 o'clock. We're out of here. Remember, silage tarps are on sale. Go over and snag one or two. And we are really experiencing all petroleum-based products, which plastics are, price hikes yet again, and so we're getting ready to order more silage tarps. So there's a really good chance that when those come, the regular price will even be higher. So now they're on sale. I think it's 76 bucks for a 50 by 20, and but you have to pay the shipping. And friends, I'm telling you, we subsidize the shipping, so you're not even paying all of it. Yes, I know it's like $40 to ship one to the middle of the country, but that's how much it costs. So the sale, we hope, will help you to cover that. Remember to meet me over on Clubhouse at 1 o'clock, which is just another phone app, friends. I'm talking to Ellen Frost about her brand new course, Preparing to Sell to Florists. Ask her your questions just like we do here. She and I will chit chat for about 15 minutes, and then we have a Q&A time. And y'all, get the Gardener's Workshop new phone app and come with me on Fridays at 12 noon for my shopping show, where I'm showing the blooms that's blooming on the farm, telling you my extra little tidbits, the chores of the season, and there are special offers over there. The shopping show is totally separate from the website. It's got bundles over there you won't find, and it's me and Suzanne from the farm. And yes, the Clubhouse app. That's where you go there, join Clubhouse, then look for my club, Flower Farming, and join me at 1 o'clock. And the shopping show on Friday is on the Gardener's Workshop app. And friends, it's a lot of fun, special offers, and you won't be sorry you did it. All right, friends, till we meet again next Wednesday for Ask a Flower Farmer, please like and share with your friends and invite them on over. The name of the group for the Clubhouse is the Flower Farming, is Flower Farming. And then the name of the app you search the App Store for my app here at the Gardener's Workshop is Gardener's Workshop Live Shop. So friends, see you soon. Ciao.